from Marrakesh on the 14-Day How to Write a Solo Show Slam. And I'm so excited to be here. Now, let me make sure everybody's all set because I am simulcasting, aloha, on both Zoom and Facebook at the same time because I got it like that. Okay, so folks, the last time we talked, which was yesterday, we talked about emotional chords and how I used the things that moved me in the color purple to find my emotional chords. And I hope you went home and thought about movies and shows that you've seen and the real specific lesson that the character was learning. Because that lesson, the one that caught your eye, the one that really moved you, that's part of your emotional chords. And that's important stuff. Now, before we get started, I want to make sure nobody has questions. So I'm going to pin this to the top. And you can sign up at any time for the 14-Day How to Write a Solo Show Slam. Okay? I'm going to do a replay of all 14 videos at a certain point. So you have to sign up if you want to see them. And I'm taking questions. I am going to try and address them today, along with talking about the gesture, the psychological gesture. And I studied that in the Michael Chekhov class with Leonard Petit in grad school. And lo and behold, it was the hardest concept for me to learn to find my clown. But once I found it, I realized I was a solo performer. So I'm going to talk about, because people always write to me, how do I get started? How do I get started? Okay, I'm just checking for questions. You can type your questions down in the comments. If you want to get all 14 of the videos, the replay, which will probably be happening at the end of this week, you'll need to sign up at thedreamunlock.com or the link that's here in the description of this video, the dreamunlock.com/solo-show-CTA, or just go to thedreamunlock.com and you can sign up. Now, as I was saying, we went through the emotional chords yesterday. Yesterday's video was hot, and I did a replay last night. So I want to talk about this idea of I don't know how to write because I've never written before. And as I've talked about in each and every video, every time you come to the page, any page, FB, social media, Instagram, you comment on something, a grocery list, an email, you're writing. Every time you talk about what happened to you, you're writing, okay? Because everybody is narrating the story of their lives in their conversations. In your journal, which is what we talked about yesterday and how important writing in the journal every day is, because that's where you'll start to see recurring emotional chords. And those chords are the key to creating character, right? Once you figure out a life lesson that you're struggling with, if you create a character with that same life lesson, that character will be so complicated and deep, and rich, the story will write itself, I'm telling you. If you were fascinated by your mother's childhood and asked her stories about it, and she just started talking, she would tell you a book in one sitting, right? You understand her. You understand her character. You understand what moves her. You understand where she's from. The same is true of you. So say loss of love from a primary parent is one of your emotional chords. If you were writing a character for whom that was one of their emotional chords, in any given circumstance, whether it's the death of a parent, whether it's graduating from college, that loss of love from a primary parent, if that's the recurring emotional chords, the story will tell itself. Because that character will approach their life with that life lesson. It's a primary life lesson that shaped who they are. It's the lens through which they see the world. When that person starts talking, they tell you a story. All you have to do as the writer is to learn how to sit and listen for the story that wants to be told. And the way to do that is the emotional chords. And I talked all about that in yesterday's video. I'm going to give you another trick for creating writing that comes out of the character instead of you trying to think of things, right? And that's why solo show work is so fascinating. Do I have any questions? I'm going to check the comments and make sure I have questions as I go along. Solo show work is different from other work because you create and explore the character and the story comes from them, not the other way around, right? So today I want to talk about psychological gesture. And if you haven't seen my TED Talk, You can go to thedreamunlock.com and you can see an excerpt of it and how I use the psychological gesture. The psychological gesture used to come out of archetypal gestures. Like if you ever read a review in the New York Times, like open to the New York Times today, okay? Look at the, do I have a question? Okay. Look at all the pictures from the movie reviews, from the play reviews, in particular play reviews. They always choose a picture in which the actor is employing the psychological gesture. Okay? The psychological gesture is when you're trained as an actor, especially on stage and, well, TV and film too, don't move. You move because you absolutely have to, right? Because the emotional thing that's